Okay, hi guys. Hello for everyone who is watching my lecture. Dr. Borys is here, and today I wanna, with big pleasure, represent you my new lecture about endocrine, immune, and lymphatic systems. Congratulations on a start a new semester. So let's go in. What about endocrine system? Is a system of glands, each of which secretes an, a type of hormone directly into the bloodstream to regulate the body. In this picture, you can see all mm, endocrine organs, right? The main one, it's a hypothalamus and hypophyse, it's pituitary gland, and pineal body, it's epiphyse, right? In this place, you can see the thyroid gland, the back surface, and it will be parathyroid glands, thymus behind the breastbone, adrenal glands over the pancreas, right? And gonads, it's ovaries, it's for female, and testes for the male body. Okay, the endocrine system is an information signal system like the nervous system, but the nervous system sends information very quickly. Endocrine responses are generally short-lived, and these systems effects are slow to initiate and prolongate in their response, lasting from the few hours up to the weeks. In this picture, you can see the nervous part of nervous system, right? Neuron impulse, um, and this neuron impulse goes into the target cells, right? Through neurotransmitters. The next picture, it will be the endocrine organs. Hormones are substances. What does mean hormones, right? It's a substances, chemical mediators released from endocrine tissue into the bloodstream, where they travels to target tissue and generate a response. Hormones regulate various human functions, including metabolism, growth and development, tissue functions, and mood. Since, like I said, this picture about endocrine system. So it's endocrine cells, which produce hormones, biological matter cells, and these hormones goes into the bloodstream and into the target cells, right? Good. So what you see in these pictures? So it's hormones which produced by hypothalamus and hypophyse and epiphyse in this place, right? Hypothalamus, tyrotropin releasing, growth hormone releasing, gametopin releasing, corticotropin releasing. Okay, pituitary gland produce the stimulation of tropical hormones, steroid stimulation, adrenocorticotropic hormone, follicular stimulation hormones. So all of this information is will be up next in our lecture, right? In general tablets. Pineal body produce just melatonin, right? So what about the hypothalamus and hypophyse? Part of hypophyse, it's a part of hypothalamus, right? So from hypothalamus, it's hypothalamus produce releasing hormones. It's will be gonadotropin releasing hormones, tyrotropin releasing hormones, corticotropin releasing hormones, prolactin releasing hormones, prolactin inhibitor hormones, growth hormones releasing, and somatostatin. And hypophyse produce stimulation hormones. It's like I said, tropical hormones, right? It will be follicular stimulation hormones, luteinizing hormones, thyroid stimulation hormones, adrenocorticotropic hormones, prolactin, and hormone hormones. It's produced in the anterior lobe, right? We can see anterior lobe of the hypophyse. Hypophyse. Back lobe of hypophyse have just two own um, hormone which produce in the hypophyse. It's oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone, vasopressin. So, its own hormone of the hypophyse, which produce in the back part of the hypophyse. Front part, anterior lobe of hypophyse, have hormones which coming from the hypothalamus. In this place it will be a releasing, you can see, and this one it will be tropical hormones. In these tablets, all of these hormones comes together, right? So this one, first column, it's secreted hormones. Next one, it's abbreviation produced by and effect of these hormones. So actually, you can stop my lecture anytime, right? And shoot my tablets or take some notes in your copybook or something else, right? Okay, you can see hypothalamus, which hormone produce thyroid releasing hormones, dopamine hormones, growth hormones releasing, somatostatin hormones, gonadotropin releasing hormones, corticotropin releasing hormones, oxytocin, and vasopressin. In this picture, you can see three axes of hypothalamus. You can see hypothalamus-pituitary axis, hypothalamus-pituitary-gonadal axis, and hypothalamus-pituitary-adrenal axis. So here you can see thyroid-releasing hormones, gonadotropin releasing hormones, and corticotropin releasing hormones. And in this place, you can see prolactin hormones. This one, it will be for thyroid stimulation hormones. Here, it will be luteinizing hormones and follicular stimulation hormones for testes and ovary. For adrenal glands, it will be adrenocorticotropical hormones, right? And for the rest organ, it will be growth hormones. In the liver, it will be insulin-like growth factor or somatomedin. The rest organ is fat, muscles, bones, right? So it's hormones which produced by pituitary glands, hypophyse, right? It's stimulation hormones, tropical hormones. So growth hormones, somatotropin, thyroid stimulation hormones, thyrotropin, adrenocorticotropical hormones, corticotropin, beta endorphin, follicular stimulation hormones, luteinizing hormones, prolactin hormones, melanocyte stimulation hormones, and since, like I said, two own hormones of the hypophyse, it's oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin, it's uterine contraction, it's hormone of the uterus, and vasopressin, it's water retention of vascular contraction. So it's a constriction of your vessels and retention of the water, increase water permeability. So actually, w- in generally, the main function of the pituitary gland hypophyse, it's chief of all endocrine glands and produce the hormones which regulate the produce hormones by the rest endocrine glands. Things like this. For example, thyroid hormones, TSH, right? Thyrotropin. So stimulate produce T3 thyroxine, the 3-adenoteronin and 3 T4 thyroxine by thyroid gland. For example, adrenocorticotropical hormone stimulate uh, adrenal glands produce corticosteroid. So hypophyse control have the main control of excretion endocrine by endocrine organs, the main lot of endocrine organs of the hormones inside the bloodstream, right? Okay, what about the thyroid gland? Thyroid gland. So it's dislocated of thyroid glands. You can see the lobes, right? Isthmus. It's a frontal surface, back surface here, and you can see in the back surface we have a parathyroid glands. So this one, it's parathyroid glands. Uh, this more visible, better visible, parathyroid glands. Produce parathyroid hormone, right? Yeah. So what about thyroid glands? So produce the triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine or thyroxine. So what the main function? It stimulates body oxygen and energy consumption. So what about the parathyroid hormone produced by parathyroid glands? It regulates the calcium in the body. The all full information present in my tablets, right? And I can't give it to you all of this information because we have no time. You know this. My program of, of which I will give it to you, my lecture limits me in the 35 minutes. So that's why I can't give it to you more information in front of this, which I give it to you. So this one, it's adrenal glands, right? Adrenal glands, internal structure of adrenal glands, it's medulla inside and adrenal cortex. Medulla, which produce adrenaline and noradrenaline. Cortex produce the rest hormones. Which hormones? This one, glucocorticosteroids or cortisol, for example, stimulated fat breakdown in adipose tissue, right? And mineralocorticosteroid stimulate active sodium resorption in the kidneys. So it's a cortex of adrenal glands produce and androgens. The medulla of the adrenal glands produce the adrenaline and noradrenaline. The function of the adrenaline, right? Action of adrenaline, everyone knows. So becomes heart beat faster, your blood pressure become higher, right? So noradrenaline have antagonist function in other function, right? Um, the medulla of the adrenal glands produce dopamine and other two hormones, dopamine and um, enkephalin. Dopamine, it will be increase heart rate and blood pressure, and enkephalin, it's regulate pain. What about the pancreas? Pancreas. So you can see pancreas. If actually you have to know this information, right? Pancreas have a body, tail, and the head, right? Body have two duct. Pancreas have two duct, main duct, this one main, and supplementary duct open in the duodenum. This duct mixed joints with the uh, uh, ductus choledochus, made ampulla hepatopancreatica, right? And the bile with the pancreatic juice mixed and entry inside the duodenum. Okay, but I have a question today. It's about endocrinic part of the pancreas. So the tail of the pancreas, mainly the tail, in the tail located a lot of the island of Langerhans, which produce the insulin. Insulin. Insulin, which decrease the sugar blood, right? You know this. And glucagon, it's increase blood glucose level, which another hormones which produced by pancreas, it's a somatostatin. It's a inhibit release of insulin and pancreatic polypeptide. So, and this one, information about the pineal body, we forget about this. Okay, pineal body um, epiphyse produce the melatonin. It's an antioxidant. Okay, so it's androgens, right? It's genital organs, ovary and testes. So, which hormones produced by ovary, testes, and placenta and uterus? Placenta and uterus produce the hormones just when they're pregnant. Okay, ovary produce the in the first um, before ovulation, in the first period of the menstrual cycle, produce the estrogens. Estrogens, it will be estrone, estriol, and estradiol. Okay, and after ovulation, produce the hormone of pregnancy. It will be progesterone, support pregnancy, progesterone. What about placenta? Right, placenta when pregnancy and uterus when pregnancy produce progesterone, estrogen, and human chorionic gonadotropin and human placental lactogen and inhibin, uterus prolactin and relaxin. And what about testes? Testes produce the testosterone androgens. Testosterone. What about testosterone? Responsible for the man signs, right? It's your voice, it's your body, right? It's your muscle mass, it's your bones density, right? Axial hair, sex organ, everything, right? Uh, okay, testes produce except testosterone, estradiol 2, and inhibin. inhibin estradiol too. Seems like a female body, right? Estradiol, it's not just hormones for the female body. What about additional organs? So main organs, you know there's main organs, right? Hypothalamus, hypophyse, uh, thyroid glands, pancreas, and in additional to the specialized endocrine organs, many other organs that are part of other body systems, such as the kidney, liver, heart, have secondary endocrine functions. So, and I give it to you, this function. You can see liver, liver produce the insulin-like growth factor, somatamidine, angiotensin, thrombopoietin, duodenum, for example, produce secretin and cholecystokinin. Kidney produce renin, erythropoietin, calcitriol, thrombopoietin, and stomach produce gastrin, ghrelin, neuropeptide, somatostatin, histamine, endothelin. So pancreas and adrenal glands, I give this information previous time, right before. So as you can see, this organ produce the hormones too. It's like I said, one more time: stomach gastrin, ghrelin, neuropeptide, somatostatin, histamine, endothelin, duodenum, secretin, cholecystokinin, liver, insulin-like growth factor, angiotensin, thrombopoietin, kidney, renin, erythropoietin, and calcitriol. So all these hormones have own function, right? Some function. Skin produce hormones too, cal- calcidiol, so inactive form of vitamin D3, so function. Heart produce hormones too, atrial natriuretic peptide and brain natriuretic peptide. Bone marrow produce thrombopoietin, thrombopoietin, and adipose tissue produce hormones too. It will be leptin and estrogens. Estrogens. Leptin decrease of appetite, of increase of metabolism. So I try to give it to you all information about the endocrine system and about the hormones, all the hormones which produced by the body present in my lecture. So it's developed of the hypothalamus. You can see near hypophysis part, feature hypothalamus, talent section of the brain, right? This one, it's a thyroid diverticulum. It's just 4 weeks. In this one, in this picture, you can see pituitary development, 8 weeks, 16 weeks, right? And thyroid development in the 5th weeks and its 7th weeks. And this one developed of the adrenal glands. You can see in the last picture, you see pretty good adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Developed pretty good. Okay, so it's what about this picture? Two picture. This it's normal face, and this one it's a L, right? So it's a sick, guys. which have the metabolism disease. It's a defection of metabolism. What about the organ of humoral reaction? The function of the humoral system, it's a recognition of genetically foreign antigens and a special response to them. The main purpose is to neutralize the control those antigens that stimulate the immune response. So it's a set of organs, tissue cells that protect the body from foreign agents. So it's which organs? It will be the primary and secondary. Primary organs, it will be the thymus and red bone marrow, right? And secondary, it will be lymphatic nodes, spleen, ileum, and accumulate on lymphatic tissue, tonsil, and next one. So lymphatic system. What about lymphatic system? First, the main function is a drainage, helps to return excess tissue fluid back to the blood. Next function, it's a humoral function. It's protection of the body by lymphatic nodes. Lymphatic nodes. Next function, next action, right? What is special about lymphatic system? It's a consisting of lymphatic capillaries, lymphatic vessels, lymphatic nodes, lymphatic trunks. The second vascular system of the body, it's an additional channel of the venous system. So, actually, you have to know, in the human body, the speed of filtration in all capillaries, it's about 20 liters per day, and the speed of reverse suction is 80 liters a day. So 2 liters of fluid per day enter the lymphatic capillaries. So in this picture, together, lymphatic and immune system organs. So here it will be tonsils, palatal tonsils, tonsils of oral cavity. It will be our next information I give it to you. This one, it's a lymphatic nodes, sublingual, submandibular lymphatic nodes, cervical lymphatic nodes, the brachial lymphatic nodes, inguinal lymphatic nodes, uh, lymphatic vessels, right? Spleen, you can see spleen, axial lymphatic nodes, thymus, all of this. Red bone marrow. Okay, another function of the lymphatic system. What? It's a transport conductive function. Carry out the absorption and transportation of colloidal substance, proteins, fat derivatives, as metastasis. A special property of lymphatic vessels is their ability to cells and various foreign part disseminations. Bacteria and tumor cells that enter the lymphatic vessels are transported by lymph flow, called metastasis. Metastasis goes through the lymph in the body. Hematopoietic function produce blood cells in lymphocytes in lymphatic system. And next one, protective function. Lymphocytes are formed in the organs of the lymphatic system, and antibodies involved in the neutralization of cells breakdown products. Foreign substances are retained in the lymph nodes. In this picture, you can see joints between the vessel, arteries, veins, and lymphatic vessel, right? Lymphatic nodes, lymphatic vessel. So the small circle and big circle. Here you can see the lymphatic nodes and lymphatic duct, lymphatic vessel joins together. In this picture, you can see the drainage, drainage of thoracic duct, left thoracic duct, right? And drainage of the right thoracic duct, area of drainage. In this picture, you can see thoracic duct. In this one, it will be a right lymphatic duct, cisternaturally. What about thoracic duct? The main collectors that collect lymphatic from the drainage lymphatic vessel. Second special about thoracic duct. At the beginning of this channel, there is an expansion chulate cistern. Next, the ductules of the thoracic duct are large lymphatic trunks. It's lumbar, which collect lymph from the lower extremity abdominal organs and abdominal walls. Second, intestinal, which receive lymph from the small intestine. Third, bronchomediastinal, where lymph flow from the left hull of the chest and the thoracic cavity. Next, left subclavian, which collect lymph from the left upper limb, and left jugular, which receive lymph from the left side of the head and neck. So in this picture, you can see thymus behind the breastbone organs, right? It's this one, thymus. You can see right lobe, left lobe, trabeculus, right? Internal structure, thymus, which produce the T lymphocytes. Red bone marrow produce B lymphocytes, thymus produce T lymphocytes. This one is picture about the lymphatic nodes. You can see the cortex, you have the medulla, right? Valves, trabeculars inside, arteries, veins, right? Hilum. What about special about lymphatic nodes? Have protective function. They are a good barrier from different pathogenic factors. Second one, located along the lymphatic vessel, have different size and most often being shaped form. And they give a lot of lymphocytes in the lymph. And lymph from the internal organs before getting the major lymphatic collectors, with exception of thyroid glands, pass through one or more lymph nodes. So it's lymph nodes, it's axial lymph nodes around the breast. You can see it's lymph nodes and lymph duct about around the large intestine. Transverse mesenchymal lymph, inferior mesenteric lymph nodes, superior mesenteric lymph nodes, appendicular lymph nodes. It's spleen or leon, right? Dislocated of leon here. It's red palm, white palm. It's hilum of the spleen. It's a depot of live and dead erythrocytes, actually. This one, it's a circle of Pirogov-Waldeliev. It's a tonsil inside oral cavity. We have a 6 tonsil, 2 pair and 2 unpair. Pair tonsil, it's a palatine tonsil, tonsilla palatina, between arcus palato-glottis arcus palatopharyngeus, from both sides, left and right. Another one, tonsilla tubaler near tuba auditiva, which joins the middle ear and oral cavity. And biggest one, tonsilla lingualis, in the root of the tongue. And finally, tonsillia pharyngeal in the back wall of the pharynx, which call it adenoid or polyp, if become bigger and bigger, and in the child, for example, close their nasal cavity, and nasal way, and child can breathe through the mouth. That's why the toddler must cut some part of the tonsil, and give it the help for breathing for the child, right? It's a cumulate of lymphatic tissue, cumulate, and have the immunal reaction protect your body in front the extended environment, the first barrier, which from the biologic matters outside, which comes in through the nose and through the oral cavity. And this picture about TMOS produce T cells, right? Red bone marrow produce beta cells, which give it the T cells and B cells in the secondary lymphatic, other lymphatic tissue and organs. It's well, the tonsils, right? It's the lymphatic nodes, and will be spleen and another one. So remember that more than 60% of your immunity located in the small intestine, in the ileum. Ileum. It's nodi lymphatici aggregati e nodi lymphatici solitari. Not in the lymphatic nodes, not in the tonsil, not in the red bone marrow, but in the small intestine. Remember, please, this information. Okay, thank you for your attention, guys. Today it's finished, and I think that's I hope this my lecture give it to you more knowledge and help for you in your next study. Okay, have a nice day, have a nice time. See you guys. Bye.